your life. We're here on William Street waiting for a Melbourne tram. And we're going to North Melbourne, home and training ground of tonight's guest of honour. Come along with us. Our tribute tonight is to a four-time Olympian and one of this country's biggest sports stars. He's also a real hero to thousands of our children. Right now, he's training with his team, and that's where we're going to surprise him, right in the middle of training. Here's our stop now. Nice shot. Excuse me, Mr. Gaze.
Oh, hello. What's going on there?
Andrew Gaze, this is your life. Absolutely, mate. There it is.
Mate, I tell you, that's a thick book too. All right. I did not know. See, I always thought this was rigged, you know, so now I know it's not rigged.
It's not rigged.
God damn.
Yeah, the coach knew though. You can certainly blame the coach. Really confident.
That's some shit right there, pal. Oh, my God.
Some welcome, mate.
That is.
Fantastic. Now, Andrew, you've spent the past 25 years playing for the same club, the Melbourne Tigers. You've literally grown up with the Tigers, and of course, it wouldn't be the same tonight if we didn't have a few of your teammates along.
All right. All right. Oh, we made it.
All right. Ray, what's he like as a captain?
Well, apart from not calling his fouls at training and snoring on road trips, he's not a bad guy. Not a bad guy.
Good captain.
Very good captain.
Yeah, yeah. And is he the same bloke on or off the field, Leno?
Very emotional kind of guy, and I'm willing to bet you'll see some tears before the night's over.
He gets pretty emotional,
Yep,
doesn't he?
very.
All right, okay. Well, guys, thanks very much for joining us, and thanks for keeping the surprise. He can't believe it.
I can't believe that these knuckleheads have not blathered something out.
Thanks very much for joining us, fellas. Take a seat over here. And after the break, the Gaze craze sets in as Andrew starts dribbling. But first, a cheerio from one of the world's greatest basketballers, fellow Australian Luke Longley.
Conjure the images of Andrew Gaze. It'll be passed down from generation to generation in basketball folklore. The terrifying, rim-shattering attacks at the backboard. The graceful across the lane float as he hangs in the air and flips the finger roll up over 2 or 3 defenders. Let's not forget the way that he can shut a game down from the defensive end, take a man out of the game, block shots, terrorise offensive players. But really, mate, I think you're Australia's finest basketballer, and you know, you deserve everything you get, and congratulations.
Welcome back to the life of Andrew Gaze. Andrew Barry Casson Gaze. You're born in East Melbourne on the 24th of July, 1965. You're the youngest of 2 children. What a cutie. Your father, Lindsay, is the national basketball coach and an administrator for the Victorian Basketball Association. With that job comes a small cottage connected to Albert Park Stadium and 9 basketball courts. You literally grow up under a basket.
and by the age of 5 you could reach it.
It's your dad Lindsay, mum Margaret and sister Janet. Please come up. Lindsay, was he always going to be a basketballer?
Well, not really. In our place, we had the best background of backyard of any family in the world, with badminton, table tennis, squash, football.
So he tried it all, did he?
Well, he had a go at everything, and he had a go at cricket. That was a bit slow. Tried football. That was a bit wet and slushy. He was a little bit tall for his age, and had a go at basketball. Was good at it, and basically decided to stick with it.
Right, right. And obviously, basketball is in the family. Andrew, does your mum play?
I've never seen her play.
Haven't you?
No.
Never?
I don't know whether I don't even think I've ever seen her shoot a basket.
Well, it just so happens that we have a basketball here and a hoop. Mrs. Gaze, would you mind having a shot for us?
Oh, I'd love to have a shot, just to show Andrew that there's more than one in the family.
Exactly, exactly.
There's no way this is going in.
So, is there a spot for her in the Tigers?
Well,
After that?
She must have known this secret for about 6 months, because it would have taken her 6 months to learn how to do that.
All right, look, thank you very much for joining us.
Thanks a lot.
Please, mate, sit down. Yeah, keep it with you. Keep it with you. You're 5 when you play your first game for Eastern Road Primary School and score 100 points. But you cop a ribbing from some of your mates because back then basketball is sort of regarded as a bit of a sissy's game. How much of a hard time did they give you?
Most of them didn't know too much about basketball, so they're just doing it just to, I suppose, hang it on me a little bit.
Because it was so new?
Yeah, and they didn't really know too much about it.
You start playing regularly at the ripe old age of 6. Not only that, you play in the under-12s because you're head and shoulders above everyone else, not because you can play. Although you are gangly and can't jump, you practice every available minute of every day. And by the time you're a teenager, you're an accomplished player. But Andrew, you'll never be a karaoke singer.
Oh, jeez.
In the jungle, the mighty jungle, the lion.
Oh, I can't believe
this. In the jungle, the quiet jungle, the lion sleeps tonight.
Mate, nothing is sacred.
Is the group still together?
No, as you can see, the voice is probably not right there.
Oh, Drewy boy, the pipes are calling.
It's your karaoke mates, Wayne Peterson, Nigel Purchase and Grant Cadee. So, Wayne, who was the one to start singing?
Well, I'd actually just got back from Singapore and purchased some new karaoke equipment, and Andrew, if anyone knows Andrew, they know that he loves toys and electronics. So we're at my mum's, we're about to go out at 6 o'clock, and Andrew said, why don't we set up and have a little sing? By 11 o'clock that night, a 60-minute tape later, Andrew's done 14 songs, we dragged him out and we finally got out.
And we happen to have Andrew Gaze's grade 2 school report here at the age of 8. And it says, when he tends to daydream. He has artistic tendencies, but is afraid to let himself go. Is that right, guys?
That's absolutely right. Andrew's artistry is, don't worry about it, mate, I'll make it up as I go along, I'll wing it, it'll be okay, no preparation necessary. He took that theory to Footscray Institute, and 8 years into a 3-year phys ed degree, he went into a dance class, very important dance class at Grant. Take it easy, mate, I've got it under control, done no preparation, but I'll be okay. He named his dance the Dance for the Puppy Dog. I was embarrassed at the name of the dance. But then he proceeded to crawl around on all fours, bark like a dog for 3 minutes, make it up, come back very smug, but the lecturer told him, I'm not convinced, do it again, movement for movement. No amount of ad-libbing in the world was going to save him, he failed the exam.
So it took you 8 years to get the degree?
No, it actually, I think I've just finished. It's actually taken me 12 years, so...
Fellas, thanks for joining us.
Good on you. Mate, I'm not going to go.
Andrew, as a teenager, you don't devote much time to girls because your only love is basketball. At just 16, you're selected to play for the Melbourne Tigers, making you the youngest in the squad. The following year, at 17, you play for Australia. You then start playing for the Tigers in the National Basketball League, and you end your first NBL season with a 29-point game average. Andrew Gaze, number 10, is voted Rookie of the Year. Now, before the Tigers turned professional in the NBL, you were virtually playing for nothing here, weren't you?
Yeah, very much so. I think that our club came into the league a little bit after it started, and from about 84 when we first came into the league until about 89, I think it was, we were just very much playing for the love of the game. We didn't receive a dime out of it. But
you weren't paid anything?
No, not a cent. Not a cent. But you know, I think that we were fortunate enough to get some help, and we caught up to the rest of the league pretty quickly once we got that help.
Yeah, you sure did. And why did you choose number 10?
I chose number 10 because, well, mainly back then, one of the players on the team, there was Doug Dodge and Bruce Case, and Bruce Case wore number 10. And I guess he used to have a little thing in his hair, a little white bit, and I guess even from a very young age I was going grey, so I thought, he's my man. Plus, I mean, it was I thought, you know, I could relate to him. Plus, you know, he was reasonably, he seemed reasonably tall, played as a guard, he liked to shoot the ball. And
you chose his number?
Yeah, I thought, yeah, number 10's the one for me.
Well, that same American basketball, Bruce Case, who inspired you, sends you this message from America tonight.
The days when I played in Australia, you were a pretty short little guy with legs that were probably wider than a toothpick. I always remember, and something in the other hand. In most cases, you were always dribbling that basketball, and on the other hand, you were always eating something. I wish all the best to you and your family, and all the happiness in the future.
Nice. In 1984, you were 18 and chosen to represent Australia at the Los Angeles Olympics. But your dad's the coach, and critics claim your selection is based on nepotism. Now, how bad were those accusations?
I think because I'd always grown up with my dad with being involved in the Australian team and him having to deal with selection, there was, even throughout the juniors when I was not in part of the team, I guess I always used to cop a little flack because naturally when you're the coach of the team, there's always someone that's going to miss out. So I guess when I was eventually playing for him and got selected, I was very much accustomed to that. So, you know, there were those cries, a few things in the media and stuff, but I guess I was conditioned to deal with that from a very young age.
And you've certainly proved them wrong.
Yeah, I mean, I think that it's easy to understand how people in that certain situations who don't know much about the sport can come to that conclusion. And I guess, fortunately, I was able to realise that at a young age, and I guess through my parents, learned how to deal with that.
As one of the game's rising stars, you also help inspire a future generation of Olympians in all sports. And one of those athletes is here tonight, dual Olympic medalist Daniel Kowalski. Daniel, how is a swimmer inspired by a basketballer?
Well, I've always loved the game of basketball, never been able to play it, and for as long as I can remember, the name Andrew Gaze has always been synonymous with the game.
Is that right? And you've always looked up to...
Well, I started to realise Daniel, I think, mainly as he's tries to climb that mountain of beating Kieran Perkins, I suppose, and I was a Magic fan, and I didn't really know too much about Daniel as a person. I always knew him as a swimmer and his remarkable achievements in the pool, but I guess that's one of the better things about competing in Olympic Games. You get actually to meet people like Daniel, and I think, you know, he's very much an inspiration to me now. It's particularly, I think, following the Olympics, you know, for someone like Daniel, I sort of would have thought that, geez, you sort of say, this bastard Perkins, I'm never going to beat him, you know, he's out there. But I think as a reflection of the character of Daniel, his attitude now is just to get back in there and take care of business in 2000 is something that is a very big motivating factor for me.
Yeah. Daniel, thank you for joining us.
Thanks, mate. Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
And after the break, Andrew Gaze bounces his way into college, but first a few more wishes from some old teammates.
My Lord. Congratulations on tonight, Andrew. Well deserved. Not only have you been a champion of Australian basketball, but you've conducted yourself with so much class and humility throughout your career. You really are the Don Bradman of basketball in Australia.
If I had to choose 5 of the best basketball players in the world, you'd definitely be one of them. Not only are you an inspiration to up-and-coming basketball players, but you're also an inspiration to all Australians.
There we have it. My favourite Andrew Gaze shot. Well, Drewy, I thought we'd talk about the time you were playing in Udine, Italy, 1991, and that time you thought you had a great grasp of the Italian language. You're talking to the president and his wife. Oh no, perhaps we better not talk about that right now. Drewy, you're an outstanding bloke and a great player. All the best, mate.
Welcome back to the Andrew Gaze story. Andrew, you're 21, playing point guard for the Tigers when Australian basketball explodes. Big name players are being brought out from the US and rival clubs are fighting for your signature. Andrew Gaze is on the name of every commentator's lips.
Yeah, but I bet I'm the only one who sent you a shipload of American college basketball tapes.
Sports commentator and entertainer Don Lane.
Wait a minute. Before you say anything, 3 weeks ago I was on there. 4 weeks ago I was on here with you. He beat my bullshit record by 3 of them, right?
That's right. He never stopped saying it.
I know. He just kept going. I only did it once. Yeah, right. Yeah.
Now, what's all this about the tapes you were sending the Gazes?
Well, I had access to American college basketball tapes, and of course they didn't. It was at a time when you couldn't get those tapes here. So whenever I used to get them sent to me from America, or the ones that I had sent to me through a service that I got, I would pack them up in a box and I'd send them down there to them, and they absolutely loved them, him and Lindsay. The only problem with it was that some of the tapes were taped over other tapes, and I was always really fearful if I sent the box as to what the hell else might be on there, you know. I always figured you get some basketball player dribbling down the court and some topless lady suddenly, you know, defending. I wasn't quite sure, really.
And what do you think of this bloke, Don?
Oh, you can't go past a guy like this when it comes to determination and attitude and setting an example for people. And is this enough? What else did you tell me? And no, really and truly, honestly, I mean, this is like the quintessential basketball player. And my kids, I coach at a school, and my kids just absolutely think he's Christmas, and so does every other kid in Australia. And who else is ever going to match the record of this guy? It's quite unbelievable. Only one thing, he's not as good looking as old man. You know?
Thanks, Don. Thank you, mate.
Thanks. Enjoy the rest of the night.
Thanks a lot, mate.
Now, although you're playing for the NBL Tigers, you're all still amateurs, so you supplement your income through coaching. But no amount of coaching helps the Tigers, now at the bottom of the NBL ladder. In the 1986 off-season, you try for better luck in the US. Then, in a startling turnaround, the Tigers become one of the most feared international teams on tour. Along the way, you defeat Seton Hall College in New Jersey. You bag a record 46 points in this game and really impress the opposition coach, who spends the next 2 years trying to recruit you. Eventually, he succeeds. And in 1988, after playing for Australia in your second Olympics in Seoul, you accept a scholarship and set off to America. That coach, the man responsible for recruiting you, is PJ Carlesimo, and he sends you this message tonight.
Say on behalf of everybody at Seton Hall and all of us here in the States, how much we appreciated the contributions you made, not just on the basketball floor, but I think more importantly, how you represented Australian basketball. It took us 2 or 3 years to get you up here from down under, but it was certainly a great year. You were the difference, I think, for our team. We had a lot of other good players, but I think you were the missing ingredient that helped us to get to the Final Four and come within a point of a national championship. And congratulations again, Andrew, and hope to see you real soon.
Well, you're now playing for the Seton Hall Pirates. Your team shoots its way past 64 other universities to make the finals of the most watched college championship in the world. The game goes down to the wire and your team loses by just 1 point. Back at college, you're still given a hero's welcome, but the wonder from down under is now ready to come home. And you were pretty lonely, weren't you?
No, I had some good friends at Seton Hall, and you know, I think that my time there, I got used to. I think initially when you're over there, it's hard to take it all in. You do get a bit homesick, but I think by the end of it, with the people that I'd met and stuff, and I got real close friends and all, so I felt pretty comfortable there.
Well, it's funny you mention one of those friends, because there's one friend in particular, and we've flown him all the way from California to be here tonight. It's your old teammate, Trevor Crowley.
Good to see you, man.
Right on. You guys were pretty close, weren't you?
Real close.
Yeah. How close were you, Andrew?
Well, he was my roommate, and I guess when you're a long way from home, and I mean, he was a long way from home too. He was from California, so California and the East Coast is a 6-hour plane ride. So I guess we were just two loners over there, and we spent Christmas. We spent every day together, really. Every single day I was there.
And night, you were teammates.
And we slept in the same room together.
Was he tidy? Was he a tidy roommate?
No, actually, he was quite messy.
Was he?
He was quite messy. I recall his girlfriend and his girlfriend's mother came by one time, and we had our first Sunday off, and there was a couple reporters too with them, and they came knocking at the door. It was about noon, and we had our first Sunday off. We practiced every day, and the room looked like a bomb hit it, and it was quite embarrassing, but.
He didn't snore, did he?
No, I didn't snore at all.
Neither did Trev, so we're lucky like that.
Thanks, Trev. Thanks for joining.
Thanks, mate. I'll catch you later.
Andrew, you returned to Australia, but not long after, you're called back to the States to try out for the Seattle Supersonics. You become the first Australian to ever be invited to try out for the American NBA. Were they tough, those tryouts?
Yeah, they were very tough. I think that, I sort of went there just from a learning experience, continually trying to develop my game. And I guess that was probably my biggest drawback, is that I didn't really go there with that dogged determination to make it. I was just sort of soaking it in and just, happy to be there as part of the numbers. So that was probably, looking back on it, one of the things that if I had my time over again, perhaps I would have went with a bit of a different attitude.
And you do miss out on the Supersonics by just one place. It's a bitter disappointment, but nothing compared to the news you receive next season when you're diagnosed with thrombosis. Blood drips from your mouth and nose, and your shooting arm swells to twice its size. You're forced to spend time in hospital, wondering whether you'll ever play basketball again. How bad did it get?
Well, a lot of it's, your mind just does silly things when you're in these types of situations. So, things start racing through your head, and sometimes you blow it a bit out of proportion. But, it's obviously not a pleasant thing, and it can have fatal consequences. But fortunately, everything went okay for me.
Did you think you might die?
You definitely do consider that. You try not to think about that too much, and you try and remain positive. But it does knock you about a bit, and I guess keeps things in perspective, having gone through that.
Your stay in hospital makes you realise just how precious life really is. So you become a friend and inspiration to the many thousands of young Australians battling to stay alive themselves. Ronald McDonald House and Melbourne's Challenge Cancer Network for terminally ill children both receive your support. So a few of the kids from the cancer ward at Melbourne's Royal Children's Hospital send you this message.
Hi, I'm Callum. Andrew, I just love the way you sink those three-pointer shots. Have a great night.
Hi, I'm Cam. You're a great shooter, Andrew, and I hope you win the finals. Have a great night, mate.
Hi, Andrew. My name is Taryn Chapman, and some guys in outpatients in the Royal Children's Hospital did some paintings of you, and I picked the winner, and her name is Leanne, and she's 5 years old. And thanks. Bye.
And that was the spitting image of you too.
Exactly.
At 25, because of the thrombosis, you're forced to take 6 months off from the game. At the time, your body might not be on the court, but your heart certainly is. And the following season, you make quite a comeback. And after the break, Andrew Gaze keeps on scoring, but sets his sights on a different kind of ring. And welcome back to our tribute to Andrew Gaze. You're 27 in 1992 when you win the NBL's Most Valued Player Award for the second year running. You then actually knock back a $2 million contract to play overseas so you can stay with your beloved Melbourne Tigers. In July, you set off to Barcelona for your third Olympic campaign. The Boomers finished 6th, but you return to Australia with a different type of gold. On the 5th of December, 1992, you place a wedding ring on your sweetheart, Melinda Purchase. And here she is tonight with your daughters, Courtney and Phoebe. They're beautiful. Beautiful.
Who's that? Who's
that? Melinda, how did you guys meet?
We actually met through Nigel, my brother, when I was about 12. I used to go watch Nigel play basketball, and Andrew was his teammate then, but I just thought he was this tall, lanky kid and didn't really think of him much then. But
bit dorky?
Yeah, a little bit dorky. But then Nigel would come home and say how Andrew was such a nice guy. I thought, oh, you know, he's quite nice. So in '84, we had this big bonfire party at my parents' place, and that's when I made my move.
You made your move?
Yeah.
What did he do?
He couldn't resist, could you?
Melinda, thanks very much. Do you mind taking a seat with Andrew, please? And the girls, of course. Thanks, Julie. At 28, your lifelong ambition of winning the NBL looks like coming true. The Tigers are in the finals and lead by 3 points with 5 seconds to go. In the game's most fitting tribute, you sink the winning basket and the Tigers take the 1993 championship.
Yeah, that's great.
Your greatest moment in sport?
I think so. I think that...
He's Daddy. Yeah. Where's Dad?
Yeah, I think so. You know, I think because I've been with the club for so long, I suppose to reach the ultimate goal, you know, eventually, I think was... particularly when you think of the road that we had to take to get there and the hardship, I guess, we endured on the way, it was a tremendous reward.
And particularly winning with your dad as coach.
Yeah, I think that it's a very rare opportunity that you have to share a very special moment and something that I guess collectively as a family that we've worked together for, and to experience that with your father and with our family was a fantastic honour, and I suppose that it is also just rewards for the effort that my dad has made and the contribution that he's made as well.
Yeah, well said, well said. The following year, you become only the second Australian ever to make it to the big time, the American NBA. The Washington Bullets sign you up on a temporary contract. Now, the third Australian to do that is here tonight. It's your longtime friend and one of the American NBA's latest recruits, Shane Heal. He still can't believe this. He can't believe any of it. Now, you've always played number 23, but recently you changed to number 10. Because of Andrew?
Yeah, well, I grew up idolising Andrew as a player, I think, like a lot of other young Australians, and I don't think there's any doubt that Andrew is by far the best Australian ever to play in this country. But I guess after rooming with him for a couple of years at the Olympics, and becoming very good friends, of probably the respect and the admiration I've got for him more as a person and away from the court and what he's like is amazing, and really the honour is all mine to be able to wear his number, and I asked him for permission that I could do that.
That's great, that's great. And I think... And I believe, Shane, you brought something along with you?
Yeah, we got one actually framed from Minneapolis, the Minnesota Timberwolves.
Let's have a look at it.
We've got it here with...
What does the inscription say?
Oh, it just says thanks for the friendship and the support that he's given me over my career, and it's got a couple of the photos at the opening ceremony at the Olympics and one from the last Olympics. So with This Is Your Life, September 96.
That's great. All right, thanks, Shane.
Thanks, man.
Thanks, Dave. Thank you. Andrew, only a few weeks ago you played with the Boomers in your 4th consecutive Olympic Games, this time as captain. Some achievement in a career spanning 25 years. And again this year, the Melbourne Tigers go into the finals with a big chance. Not only have you become a hero to thousands of young Australians, you've also taught them the value of loyalty. You never play for the money, just love. Andrew Gaze, this is your life.
Thanks very much.
Fantastic. That's great. It's good because I've